All right, amazing people. Before you write your second body paragraph, I just wanted to talk about some really strong examples that people were asking questions about as far as their own writing, and then also some common areas of mistakes that people made generally, like multiple times, not specific to individuals, that might be happening in your writing and you might want to fix. So I'm going to go over those with you and then ask you to go back in your own writing. And before you move on to paragraph 2, just like it says on this document, take a minute and paste your first paragraph in. After watching this video, you're going to type in what sort of common error do you notice in your paragraph and go back and revise it. Or if you don't see any of those errors, just show me why you feel like your paragraph earns a 3 by typing kind of your response in here. And then once you've done that reflection, you can move on to your second body paragraph, hopefully with like a goal of continuing to strengthen your writing or improve it in the area that you had an error the first time around. So first off, a lot of people asked about the embedded quote. So I wanted to show you this really great example right here. Jade is using her power and is taking ugly and making beautiful. So an embedded quote is when within a sentence, you kind of flow into the evidence. So you can get down like this paragraph is beautifully constructed and just has like these 2 very short quotes, but they're both embedded in sentences. So it really flows and the author's voice can really come through really strongly as they share their thinking. So this is what an embedded quote is. And it's a great thing to practice as an area of growth. So if you don't have those, please try that skill out. And a trick is to try to identify the most important part of the quote, and then delete any not important words. Like if the beginning of the sentence says like he said or she said or sort of describes the context a little bit, do that in your own words and sort of cut right to the chase of the most important part of the quote. Okay, another wonderful example. You want your context of each paragraph to be specific to the evidence that you chose, because you're really trying to draw the reader in and set them up to understand the point that you're making. So this person has a great topic sentence. Jade needs to be true to herself. And then as they are leading up to the quote, their context is really specific. So they describe the 2 friends are getting off the bus. They're going to Sam's house for the first time. And they really set up some of the like tension that Sam is feeling. And then boom, the quote about what Sam's grandmother says and how it impacts Jade. So what I love about this is that it's not just saying like, in general, Jade is a poor Black girl living in Portland. It's giving specific context. So that's something else that you really want to practice and might be a common error. So we're going to get into common errors here. First off, the most common error is that your reasoning or your topic sentence doesn't connect back to your claim. So these are great paragraphs. I want to be clear. They just have a little bit of an area of growth. So if you see your paragraph in the list of common errors, know that number 1, other people made this mistake and that's why I'm talking about it. And number 2, there's many, many strong things about your paragraph, or it wouldn't even be on this list for people to look at for possible improvements. So getting a little bit of feedback to grow is always a good thing. So this person sets up their paragraph really well. They kind of talk about this in parentheses, Jade is different. But what I didn't see is making sure that you're naming theme and making it universal. So this says Jade doesn't get the same opportunities as Sam because Jade is different. But what's missing is the theme that's universal. So for example, what I said in my comment, through her struggles, she sees who in society gets what opportunities. So that universal piece needs to be in your topic sentence, connecting back to your theme each time. And then in the reasoning, this person said, how unfair, which is so important to use your voice. But I just gave the feedback. You can still give your opinion in the reasoning, but use your opinion to reflect on the author's purpose. So an example might be Renee Watson uses this moment to help the reader feel the pain of such an unfair moment. If you feel like, oh, when you read something, the author's making you feel that way. So reflect back on the author's craft. And then again, take it to that universal theme place, the different chances that Jade and Sam are given based on their race. Oops, I wrote changes here. Different chances. Okay. So here's another example of not as specific topic, sentence, or reasoning as possible. This one says, Jade realizes how obsessed her so-called friends are with money and looking good. So again, you want to connect back to that theme. So maybe something like Jade has to experience disappointment from friends in order to find true friendships, like set up the paragraph right away to show how it connects to theme. And then as you close, make sure you connect back to your claim again. So not just what does the evidence say, but how does that connect to your claim and why does it matter? So that's kind of common error number 1, reasoning or topic sentence not connected back to the claim. And common error number 2 is that the context is not as specific as it can be. So I showed you that example of really specific context as a strong example in the beginning. And some of what I saw as I was grading was students were either providing really beautifully written but vague context, like this first one, so powerful, all the observations. I think these things could go really well in an intro or a conclusion or even reasoning. But what's missing is what happens in the book right before this evidence that the reader needs to know to understand this moment. So the moment when Jade is making the crown out of the Dairy Queen bag, it's essential that the reader understand what just happened to her. She walked into a Dairy Queen and was made fun of because of her size. So she's trying to like take that experience, tear it apart, and make it into something new, right? Make it into this crown. So this paragraph did a great job of kind of cluing in the idea of the queen at the beginning, but needs to place the event in specifically what happened before the quote. Okay, one more. So this one, I just thought that as this person is describing, the main moment is the study abroad program. That's their main piece of evidence, like when Jade doesn't get in, is that instead of just potentially, this is all really well written, but again, could have been maybe said in an intro, like what generally do we need to know about Jade? In this specific moment, it would be really important to bring in what we know about her, like it's her life goal to travel the world. She came to St. Francis because she wants to be in this study abroad program. Like really build it up so that when she doesn't, the moment that she doesn't get in, we can understand, like this person said, the overwhelming feeling of jealousy and hurt. It's not just a one-off little opportunity. It's something she's been working towards for several years. Okay, last category is just that the reasoning is too short. So this is supposed to be the longest part of your paragraph. And this particular paragraph, again, super well written, opens with a great quote, talks about equality, gives great context and evidence. But at the end, well, two things. One, I would say the quote that this person chose was about the symphony, and the context that they give is about the study abroad program. So what I would say is just make sure context matches the quote. So make sure you're describing the moment where the quote actually takes place. And then at the end, the person describes like how she might be feeling like she's not receiving equal opportunities. But because it's all kind of crammed into this one sentence at the end, the sort of universal connection back to the theme doesn't happen. So she is denied opportunities and experiences by uncontrollable factors. So what is the author trying to say? So take it back to, again, the theme and the universal thing, like not everyone is treated equally in society. So those are some examples for you of strong examples and then common errors. So I will attach this document so you can look at it at your own pace. But I want you to just go ahead and go back to your own writing now, copy and paste it into this doc, and then do your reflection and write paragraph 2. All right, thank you for hanging in. Sorry this video was a little bit long.